the Recovering Party Girl podcast. I am your host, Adriana Cool. This is the lovely, the gorgeous, the funny, sassy. We'll gather you up to bring you down. Miss Symone, name your podcast.
Oh, yes, from Ages and Stages, as well as Ready Two Wed, Two Wed. Yes. We are launching that one in January.
Oh,
but yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, for those of you that don't know, she was on the season of Ready to Love Houston.
Yeah.
And, you know, we have been, well, I say we, but we know the story of the transition, right? So
to your new show.
To the new show, right. So we've been following Ready to Love since it first aired, and when we found out it was in Houston, we were like following the people, and of course Symone popped up, and so we were following the love story of Rashid and her and how they hooked up and stuff like that. And so I shoot my podcast where she shoots her podcast, and we connected, and these two are like peas in a fucking pod, okay? Like, I love their dynamic between the two, and you know, you hear reality TV can make or break a relationship.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes people, they break up after reality TV, and we all know the whole reality TV sphere. It's weird.
Yeah.
So,
to say the least.
So, okay. So, tell me, so let's just jump right in because I have a lot of questions.
Okay, girl,
and I'm excited that you're here.
And I'm kick off my.
Yeah. Let's get comfy.
Yes.
Because we're chatting today.
I got on shorts under here, y'all. So if you see something, it's not my buttercup.
And y'all already know. Shit, you might see something. I don't know. But okay, so let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
All right. So before Ready to Love, what were you doing? I mean, I know what you were doing. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm an attorney. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. And we shot Ready to Love in 2020. Well, at the beginning of 2020, I was dating somebody really raggedy. You know, his dick wasn't working. His ATM card wasn't working. He didn't have a job. And something was wrong with this little Peter Weeder. And I said, I can't live like this no more, God. Why are you doing me like this? And my best friend had convinced me, you know what, you need to move to Houston. Because every time I come to Houston, I go on great dates with quality, intelligent, ambitious guys. So I was like, I can't. I had all these excuses. She walked me through my excuses. Her name is Shayla. Shout out Shayla.
Shout out to Shayla.
Yes. And helped me identify that they were all just that, excuses and full of it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take my talents to Houston. And I've always in my mind felt like my husband was somewhere in Houston. For whatever reason.
Okay.
So in Houston, I moved here. I had some really great dates. I had some bad ones. There was that one. Okay. But
we'll get to it.
In the end, when I moved here, since I moved here, my other friend that lived here, Kyra, was like, hey, there's this reality show. I applied for it. They asked me if I have any friends that also wanted to apply. Would you be interested? And I said, well, it depends. What's it called? She said, Ready to Love. And I was like, that's my favorite show.
Yes.
And I would always watch it. Initially, the first 2 seasons, it was in Atlanta. And I was like, man, I wish I had lived in Atlanta. I'd go on that show and I'd show those girls how it's done. Boy. And so when I heard it was in Houston, I was like, yeah, I want to do it. Needless to say, if you watch my season, which is considered season 2 on DVR, I definitely didn't show anybody what to do. However, in the end, I began dating my castmate on the show. We continued dating afterwards. And now, boom, I got a ring.
He put a ring on it.
Yes.
Now let's see that big sparkle.
Thank you.
Baby. That is
good.
Gorgeous.
Y'all, he did
good.
Really
I
good.
Wish there was a zoom in. I'll probably have to zoom in on the editing. But baby, this is a ring.
I was shocked because I'll come back and tell the engagement story another day. But the gist of it was I was absolutely not expecting him to propose neither the day or the way that he did. And at the moment I realized he was, I felt like I had peer pressured him into it. And I was like, oh my God, I peer pressured him. And so I was just like, so when he dropped down on the knee, I was just like, oh girl, fix your face. Because I know he ran around the corner and got something from Costco. I just knew he just picked something up at Costco, you know, in the jewelry section. Because I was like,
I'm buying jewelry at the
Costco.
At the Costco.
Because we would go in there to get gas and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, look, they have rings. That's for people who don't want to live in sin anymore. You know,
so you were dropping hints.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And Costco do have some nice rings. Shout out to Costco. But no, it didn't. So yeah, it started on the reality show. It has continued. And yeah, I often think about, you know, he don't have any of the problems that prior guy has. His dick works and the bank account does too. So praise God.
Praise the Lord.
He hears your cries, ladies. He hears them.
Okay, so how is that? Okay, so I think is like people always say, oh, well, you know, when you meet somebody, you know instantly, right? Did you know instantly when?
Hell no. No.
Tell the truth. I like that.
No.
Tell the truth.
Because I had somebody else in mind for me.
Okay.
See,
okay.
Somebody with hair.
Okay.
My fiance doesn't have any.
Okay. Yeah.
And I have curls.
He's still handsome. He's still handsome.
Yeah. Oh no, he's not ugly. It's just that you gotta prep. You know what I mean? Yo, because why is it the minute you tell one of your girls you got a new boyfriend, their first question is, oh, is he cute? Bitch, I'm not running around here with an ugly man on purpose.
So what you mean? So what you saying?
Right. So he was cute. However, like I like men with hair, especially like curly hair, because I would like to pass on. Yeah,
just want to pass genetics.
Yeah, I would like. I really like chocolate men with curly hair, like the Creole kind from Louisiana. That's where my family's from. So I wanted one of those too. And then I don't really like to work. I mean, I work because I like electricity and warm water. But I don't want to have to. So, yeah, I wanted somebody who could present me with that option. Okay. That wasn't an option. If you love my husband, you had to get up and do something every day.
For sure.
And so I said, well, God damn it. But I was very clear when we began to date more intentionally. And I let him know, I don't want to work. Yeah. And I was like,
you said that up front.
Yeah. I said, so if you do it to me.
I hope y'all are taking notes. Because she got the ring. And she is an honest, upfront person. I've seen it. So I know. Okay, continue.
And I realized the way that you have to present it is you all have to present, you have to present yourself as adding value to his life. So you can't just be like, I'm going to be sitting at home and doing nothing.
Right.
But what I said is, I don't want to work. I want to support your business. Because I'm nosy and I need to know what's going on financially. Right. So
that's a big one.
Yes. So I said, I will hire and fire people at your car dealership. Okay. I'm going to bring in donuts when I do. I'll do donuts every Friday. That way I know who's in there. You know, if you get some new secretary, receptionist answering the phone and her titties are out, I'm firing her. She's getting fired at the end of the day on Friday. You don't fire. Yeah. Not the beginning of the day because we need some work from her.
Right. She needs to.
But, you know, I let him know, like, those, when I think of work, I want to get paid to do the shit I'm going to do anyway for free.
Right. Oh.
And as a wife, those would be things that I would be doing. I'd be making sure your paperwork's organized, this, that, and the third. As opposed to, like, being stuck to a courtroom exclusively. Like, I do injury and expungement law. So I do really heavy stuff from wrongful death, like children that are killed from dangerous products and devices, from 18-wheelers and things, to like expunging criminal records and stuff like that. So I like that work. I actually don't even consider that work. It's more fun for me because I would do it regardless. Right. But I don't want to have to do, basically, I don't have to work for anybody else, and I don't want to have to do shit I don't want to do.
Right.
So he was understanding. So I say that to say, ladies,
ooh,
if you don't want to work either, there's nothing wrong with communicating that to someone you want to be your spouse. You just want to find a way to do it in a way where you're saying, I want to contribute other value to our family, such as supporting you.
So you have to have a segue into what you're going to be doing.
Because most men, they just want to know, you're not going to be eating bonbons and sitting at home in a dirty house, and they're going to come home hungry. Right.
And the kitchen's dirty.
Yes.
Laundry's piled up, and you clicking the channels. Okay.
And the kids are bad and dumb.
With silver teeth.
That baby's kids. Listen, I was in New Orleans for work earlier this week, and I overheard these two older rich white men talking about how much they hate their wives. And what fascinated me is both of them had stay-at-home wives. One of them hated his wife a lot more.
Okay.
And the overall gist of what he was saying is he felt like the minute he gets home, she's asking him for help and complaining that he doesn't help enough.
Oh, wow.
And he feels like, well, what the fuck are you doing all day?
Yeah.
And then when he gets home, he feels like she's not a disciplinarian and that the kids are not academically where they need to be. And because she's home all day, he believes that's her responsibility.
Damn.
I was like, nigga, have you heard of Kumon? Sylvan Learning Center? You better cut a check.
And go sit in it. But why can't she, though?
It also could be. Well, I am assuming if she's staying at home, the checks have to be cut by him. Oh. Yeah, but she might not be smart enough to teach them that stuff either.
Got you,
but he probably didn't pick her because she was smart. He picked her because her titties sat up straight. Pick your battles.
Pick your battles. Pick what you choose, what you want to deal with. That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Okay, so...
Yeah, so in conclusion, when I first met him, I wasn't like, nope, this is my husband. But clearly, the times I've done that before, I was very wrong. Because some of those niggas went to jail.
Because I feel like I've done that in dating where I've been like, oh yeah, this is the one. And it was like the wrong one.
Real wrong.
Real wrong. Wrong one. And it's like, okay, I obviously, there's something, I'm looking at something wrong.
Yes. I think I was no, that's just to catch the
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, if it rolls over.
Here.
Yeah, if it drips.
You know what? I'm going to mix it.
Yay! I'm going to pour you a drink as I talk.
I don't even care.
Because I can multitask.
Okay, let's do that.
I didn't even take my medicine today.
Okay.
Some days I take my ADD medicine, y'all, and it's really interesting which Symone you get.
I think we got a little margarita.
Get out of here!
Let's see.
Whoa! How did you know how to do that? They don't teach that in college. Guys,
that's real life experience right there. That's real life experience.
Were you ever a bartender?
I was.
I always wanted to be one.
Girl.
I was too young. I didn't turn 21 until my senior year of college or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I didn't drink, so I felt like you got to taste this.
Oh, girl. I was drinking in the 8th grade, unfortunately.
Wow,
I had my first. But, you know, I grew up around Hispanics.
Okay, that'll do it. That'll do it.
I grew up around Hispanics, and, you know, they were drinking early.
Ooh, they're happy people. We love y'all.
Oh, yeah. That's my tribe.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I really feel deep in my soul I'm an abuelita.
Yeah, I thought they were just bilingual black people.
It
took me I grew up in Oak Cliff, which is a neighborhood in Dallas that's black and Hispanic. And my first school, it was called Keys Park Christian School. So it was run by a Hispanic, a super Christian. It was like Kojic Mexicans.
Oh, wow.
Oh, they love the Lord. Woo, they love them a whole lot.
Mexicans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Straight out of Mexico. It was really something. They were very conservative, but they would drink a beer. They knew how to
9
do it.
9 a.m., 10 a.m.
Praise the Lord right after.
And praise the Lord right after. Mm-hmm. But yes.
Hallelujah.
But yeah, bartending, I started bartending when I was 19 because I moved out here in 2004 when I was 18.
From where?
Corpus Christi.
Oh, wow. You sure did. What got y'all out there? Military?
Military, that's it. But, you know, born and raised, you know, my mom, she just said, hey, you have two options. My way or the highway.
Oh, which one did you pick?
The highway.
Oh! There we go.
So I picked the highway.
Okay.
And I was at Olive Garden at the time, so I transferred to the Olive Garden in Houston. And the GM, I guess she saw in me that I was more than a server.
Yeah,
I was more than that.
I love it.
She said, you need to be behind that bar.
Yes, here's to vision.
Yeah. So I was behind the bar, and then it grew. So I ended up working pretty much at any club that was hot between 2007 to 2000 to D-Bar, which was 2000.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, was it 2017?
Shoot.
So I was everywhere.
Yeah.
The Office, Level.
Ooh, The Office. I remember that one.
Yeah, The Office.
That was fun.
I was there. I even bartended in Dallas for a stint.
Girl, and you're so pretty with those dimples. Man, I wish I had known you then. You wouldn't be working today. I tell you what. I'd hit you up with some of my Dallas Cowboys buddies.
Girl, I tried. Well, I entertained a couple of Dallas Cowboys. And it didn't work out.
You gotta have a system. You gotta have a system to it.
Okay, I didn't have it. Obviously, I didn't have a system to
Girl,
it.
Yeah, get y'all an allowance. That's okay.
But needless to say, that's I've learned a few tricks of the trade.
That's what matters. So much more wisdom in our 30s,
For sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tell me about your experience on reality TV, because I watch reality TV and I know it's not. I know that there's behind the scenes. I know it's not just reality. I know it's people pushing you and you need to go with this person or you need to fight with this person. Tell me your experience.
It's weird because it's like being locked up in a crazy house where everyone has your medical chart, like what's wrong with you, what your triggers are. They've got it all, and then they're like, these people would hate each other. Let's put them in a room together.
Oh, wow.
Without you knowing it. Like, you think you're in the crazy house to get better. And they're sitting, it's like your doctors are sitting back there, like, behind a clear glass wall, like, laughing and enjoying their day. Yeah. So, I'm just thinking, like, oh, la-di-da-di-da, I'm just going to be dating and having fun. But one of the things that happens, and this is with all dating shows, The Bachelor was the first to do it, and they kind of created the method, is they'll come up with, like, themes, like a storyboard. It's not writing a story, but it's, these are some common dating themes that we want to attempt to get addressed during this season. So it could be a woman who dates with abandonment issues. It could be a guy with mama issues. It could be a guy whose wife cheated on him and now he's single and divorced, working through those issues.
Because they give that, you have to give all those disclaimers.
You tell your story, like they just ask you more about what your dating's like, what you've experienced in dating. They ask you that stuff, but then before they even cast, they like create a storyboard. It doesn't have pictures and names. It has more like themes. This is my understanding, and every show is different, but they have like themes that just general themes that they want to get addressed. And then as they get to know characters more, those characters they're in situations that illustrate the themes.
Gotcha.
So, but one of the things that was interesting is for everybody, they give you this like 500 question personality test to know more about your personality. That's how they know just how fucking crazy you are. And something's wrong with everyone. You do not get cast in a reality show if you make sense. Like if you're, oh my gosh, I'm
a logical, rational thinking person.
No, even the girls that like, or guys that you watch the show and you're like, oh my God, they're great. There was nothing wrong with them. Bitch, they're crazy as what? It was just they lucked out in the storyboard lotto. Like somebody has to be the least crazy, and that's the slot that they got. Wow. So that was really interesting to me to see, because in real life I was like, how come some of these relationships aren't working? And it was like, because the bitch you saw on TV is not the bitch in Houston. That ain't who's over here. Wow. The woman over here is driving a Kia. She's been foreclosed on, and she's on TV like a super boss.
Boss bitch. Wow.
You the boss of your Kia Sophia. As you drive it and Uber people around and deliver them on.
Oh no! Delivering Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Jesus.
How about you a CEO? You're a CEO of your Kia Sophia, or whatever it is. Yeah. That's the illustration. I'm saying woman because I'm a woman, but like it's very much the case with men. Whether it's I run this major.
Devastating.
Yeah.
To find that out.
Yeah, especially because. And it's not like it's just like the girls do it or the guys do it, like everyone does it. So my favorite is when everybody gets home and both people realize y'all both been lying to each other because everybody's living with their mama or whatever else is going on. Okay.
That's awful. See, I would be scared to do that, because what if I fall in love with you and you made it seem like
I'd be real mad. Yeah, that's why I was running everybody's background.
So did you run Rashid's background? Why?
Oh, yes, I did when we started dating. So if you go to our channel on YouTube, which is called Ages and Stages, we have a video where we exchange background checks. Yes, because I was not playing. Yes. And what really pissed me off, I won't give it away.
Very, 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 very beginning?
It was when I was ready to do it without a condom. So it was kind of, it was wild. Yeah, it was wild. It was when it was serious.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
You know that matters.
Yes, because it does matter. Because I had a situation where I didn't check the background. I mean, I didn't have sex with him.
Oh, that was smart. Okay.
So
you checked it first.
But I checked it first.
How'd
but then
go?
It was 3 pages.
Give it. What was the juiciest? What was the most astonishing thing you saw there? Hold on. What made you check it later?
Because he went to jail.
Get out of here. Did you think he ghosted you?
No, I knew he went. I mean, I was with him the day before he had to go to court.
Oh.
And so,
what was the offense?
Long story short, his ex-girlfriend showed up, made a false claim.
Okay.
And put his ass in jail.
Was it a misdemeanor?
No, yes, it was a misdemeanor.
Okay, I can get that off his record.
Yeah. So,
my record is clean.com.
Boom, here we go. All right, so it was just all these stories that were circulating. Nothing made sense to me because I'm just like, because he was just showering me with this attention and this love and this energy.
Bombing.
And I didn't know what was. I mean, I thought finally.
Yes. What
I have a good man, Savannah.
Yes.
I had a good man.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that he's not a good man.
I might be.
But I think the way he chose to move about the situation was wrong.
Okay.
And instead of allowing me to choose what I want to deal with, he tried to hide and omit. You know, we all know omission is a form of lying.
It is. And when we don't like omitters.
And when you one of God's people, God gonna always tell it. And God told it. And
what'd he say?
And
or she. What was she? If it could be a girl God.
And she said, baby, it's not him. It's not him. Because if he's doing this in the beginning, y'all ain't even made it official.
Oh, no.
And he feels the need to do all this hiding and ducking and dodging. So anyway, so I found, so I called a lawyer friend that I've used in the past, and he was like, "Yo, he's got quite the record." Wow. Because lawyers can get in, they can see all types of shit. He goes, "He's got quite the record." So I said, "No."
How white are we talking?
3 pages. I mean, it's some shit on there. Like, I mean,
I bet he was real fine. They be the finest ones, girl.
He was tall. I mean, he was handsome.
Huh. And
I was very disappointed because, and again, I have an arrest record. We know on the podcast I've talked about how this podcast even came into fruition because we had a similar. I mean, we both got arrested. We both had DUIs. Blah blah blah. We know this, so I'm not one of those people that are judgy on. If you're not raping, killing, or if it's not that type of shit, or some type of like financial scamming shit, I'm okay with that. Or aggravated, it just depends, right?
I agree.
So I'm not judging that, but it's like, come on, bro, let's. That was disheartening, and when you find out about these things, it's just like.
I totally understand. One time I was minding my business on the beach in Jamaica. Okay, just minding my business, and I met these cutie patooties. Well, one of them was cute. His other friends were ugly, but he was so cute. He just stood out like a ray of sunshine, and I was like, "Ooh, I want that one." So, I kind of like smiled at him. Whatever. We ended up chit chatting, and these guys were all from London. So I ended up. Picking out which one I wanted. And I said, oh, okay. I was trying to figure out, like...
of the litter.
I was trying to figure out, like, okay, what do they do? Like, what's going on? But, what you never do is you don't ever, like, ask them what you do. You ask, like, leading questions that allow them to volunteer it. Or let them ask you first. Then it's totally fine to ask them. Otherwise, it can be gold diggers.
Okay.
Yeah. So... we were talking, and my question was, so how long are you guys here for in Jamaica? They were like, 2 weeks. I was like, wow, 2 weeks. How blessed. I said, are you guys on holiday?
Right. Because 2 weeks is a long time.
It's a long time to not
be on
be at work.
Right.
So I was like, oh, wow, you guys must be self-employed. And they chuckled. And I said, or sell a hell of a lot of good drugs. And they laughed harder. And I was like, boom, got them.
Drugs.
So,
it's drugs.
Yeah. And I was like, and that's fine. And we left the conversation at that because I don't want to know anything. That way, I don't need to get murdered. You don't have to murder me if it doesn't work out.
I don't know anything.
And boy, it was the love affair of the year, of the pay period, because that's about how long it lasted. And I was like, nigga, it ended when I realized he couldn't even come to America for like another year because he was on probation for some shit. And he had come over, and my girlfriends were like, you don't know anything about this guy, and you invited him over to the Airbnb. I said, well, you guys were going to be asleep. He wouldn't kill you guys. I said, don't worry, I'll run. I said, hold on, I'll do a little, because I can't run your background if you live in London. So I just Googled his, I said, I made him like, let us see a picture of his ID. I was like, so that way, if we come up missing, like Natalie Holloway.
Joke.
Yeah.
As I'm on the computer.
Right, so I Googled it, and it said, let me straighten myself out. It said, we're gonna call him Idris Elba. Okay. It said, Idris Elba, drug kingpin at age 17, was arrested with 50,000 pounds of heroin and crack cocaine. And I'm reading this out loud to my girlfriends, and they were like,
oh my God.
And I thought, oh my God, these are the leadership skills I've always wanted in a man.
He runs a big company.
And this is what he was doing at the age of 17. And he's 31 today.
Oh, he knows how to run a business.
Imagine what type of conglomerate he could be leading.
For sure.
I'll never have to work a day in my goddamn life. Yeah.
Never.
And as an attorney.
You're like, what is it, Tata on Pablo Escobar's.
Oh. Yes, he did have a Pablo Escobar tattoo.
Oh, God.
Somewhere in the body. I wasn't a fan of that. We were going to have to work on getting those removed. Because we're legitimate. We're a legitimate conglomerate.
Right, because y'all were in that pay period.
Right. And it was just absolutely amazing. He was so cute, you guys. So then that was on a Monday, and then by Thursday he had flown me to London because it was going to be Valentine's Day, and that's how drug dealers do.
Right.
You know, times of the essence. Every day of freedom is one that they enjoy. So I was on that flight, and he flew me over there, and I stayed for a week, and it was amazing. And I post photos of the two of us together, and my girlfriend called me, and she was like, bitch, he's so fine. Get pregnant. Don't take your birth control. And I was like, now you know, I don't date men whose wages aren't garnishable.
Black Londoner.
Yeah,
okay.
He was black.
Okay.
Mixed, but yeah.
Okay.
If you ask him, he says I'm black.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't have unprotected sex with men whose wages aren't garnishable. That's just not a wise decision. You know what I mean?
And that's smart.
And I can't garnish.
This is a note
from London.
Right, you can't what? Okay, state of Texas or just
the
America?
state of Texas? Yeah, in the state of Texas, you can only garnish from American places. You can garnish Puerto Rico, but you can't garnish London. So don't go across the pond, ladies, and let them nut up in you. You're gonna be stuck. You can be stuck with a big-headed water baby with bad teeth. You're gonna be on your own. Some Harris County underfunded public school. That's not what we want for you. Is that what you want for them? Is that what you want for your viewers?
I don't. Ladies, please take heed. Golly. So yes, we must take heed to the laws because ladies, wear a condom if he's from out of state, out of the country, because good sis here said y'all don't get no type of there's no jurisdiction with child support, garnishment, and all of that.
Yeah.
So be very careful.
Yeah, you might be generous now, but once that baby comes, they get a little stingy.
Woo. Get stingy. Okay. All right. So you're in London.
Yeah. So we had that love affair. It was August. It wasn't until I got back to America. I was like, this is awesome. So when are you going to come visit me now? And he was like, oh, well, I have to wait till I'm off of probation. I was like, probation for what? It was some dumb offense, which was basically, he was like, the cops like stopped him and he had a knife on him. So it was like a bladed receptacle. Yeah, it was like possession of a bladed receptacle. What the fuck? I was like, that's not even a crime over here. Right. But the problem was, at the time, Trump was the president. So you know, they just make shit up. And he was like, nah, man, one of my homeboys flew to Miami. And then like in the airport, they looked and they saw his record. And they were just like, no. Because his other stuff, remind you, he was 31. He was a 17-year-old drug kingpin. He was all over the news. Because... well, the story was like he laughed in the middle of court when they gave him his sentence because he was elated. He only got like 4 years.
Oh, that's nothing.
For 50,000 pounds of heroin.
Nothing.
And
oh, wow.
Heroin. It was heroin and crack.
He had a great lawyer.
Or he was 17, so they charged him as a kid. Oh. Yeah, because similar to you, how his mom was like, my way or the highway. His mama did that. And so he had been homeless from 15. And I said, you went from homeless to the Himalayas.
To the top of the mountain, baby.
Yeah, that's the kind of leadership that I just love. Yeah, and he already had a kid. That. And I judge guys by the way their other kids look. Because we all know, if they're ugly, then chances are so will yours. And then we all know it's harder to get an ugly child dressed for the prom. It's just more difficult. I don't want to make my life harder. I need him to join my life to make it easier.
Right.
That's what we're here for. We're going to make each other's life easier. So I looked at his daughter and I was like, oh, she's adorable. I could claim her as my own. Okay. People would believe it. And so I said, yeah, that would be really good. And luckily I did not get pregnant. I didn't take my friend's advice. Smart. I didn't let him impregnate me. Yeah, it was definitely for the best.
So where is he now?
Unincarcerated. I like to say that. Amen. Yes. And
hopefully living his good life.
He is. I really wanted him to get into cryptocurrency because that was a very good way I felt to clean money. Oh, shoot. I said, oh, no, it's fine. I didn't commit a crime. He did. Yeah. And it was in London. And I don't even know their laws, so I'm not a co-conspirator. Yeah. But I don't know what he's doing because once I learned he couldn't come to America, I said, I'm going to have to date somebody else who can see me in real life and touch me. I'm not going across the pond every time.
Right.
And especially because I did appreciate, he was very respectful, so I never went to his house. He put me up in a hotel room, and I really liked that, because that way I know nothing was hidden in the walls. And
right, and you couldn't somebody couldn't bust up in there, and you're like, ah!
Exactly. But I just felt for where I wanted him to dream bigger, and at that point, I'm like, it's time to just make sure everything is clean and above board, and, I just wasn't sure that logistically it was going to take too much time, and the way my ADD is set up, by the time he got it together, I'd be on to another.
Right.
And I was, apparently. So I have my ring now.
And that's all that matters. It doesn't matter, what is it? It doesn't matter the start of the journey.
No.
It matters where you end up.
Yes. And I am so glad that I finally got to come here. And then when you confirmed the dress code was going to be pajamas, I said, oh my God, this is a dream come true for a hoe like me.
Oh yeah. I told you, we're just chilling. This is relaxation. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
I love it. Because, in college I had some issues. My freshman year, the girls were very jealous of me. By girls, I meant it was like 2 to 3. It was really one big fat one.
And it's always one big, it's a one biggie. It's always
a big fat white woman. When they are jealous, they are mean and jealous. Yes. Can I tell you about her?
Let's talk about it.
I need to get this off my chest. Okay.
Get it off. This is a recovery room.
She was kind of like a bully. Okay, so this is about how I obtained my college nickname, which stuck with me for life in the dorms, which was the Virgin Whore. Now, this was from Liz. Liz was a big fat white girl who's real rich. She was really rich from D.C., and so to upset her parents, she would date black boys, preferably the very poor ones. The ones from the D.C. projects. And mind you, this was back in like 2000. So this was when crack was very, very
rampant
in D.C., and D.C. was not as nice as it was. And so growing up for me, I went to Catholic school and everything, and my parents didn't allow me to wear thongs or pretty draws because my mom didn't like thongs because she was like, why do you need that? I said, so people don't see my panty lines. She said, no, I want people to know that my daughter wears panties. You're like, but Mom, what do you say to that? Because, I was like 17 at the time, and I was like, that's understandable. funny enough, when I repeat the same thing, when I have on my big girl drawers and I repeat the same with my fiance, he doesn't agree. That's one area him and my mama don't. I said, I'm going to tell my mama on you that you keep trying to make me wear these thongs. Because she said she want people to know her dad wears drawers. Boom.
So he doesn't like panty line.
He doesn't like, it embarrasses him and aggravates him.
Really?
He'll be like, give me your panties right now. Like before we're walking into like a really nice party or an event, he'll be like, give me your panties. And I was like, that could be kinky, except that I know why you want my big drawers. And then I'll put them in the glove compartment. Are you a big draw
person?
Oh yeah, seamless. I go with the seamless. I buy them in packs of 5 or more.
I love it.
I like
because comfort. I like big panties.
I like comfort and abundance. Comfort and abundance.
I do love a good big panty, just comfort on all ends.
All
like
of
right here. It's like, it's something, it makes me feel safe.
Yeah, everything can get caught up. Hey, whatever's going down is going to get caught.
Right.
And you can handle it in privacy.
Right.
We need it. But no, absolutely. So when my mom had that attitude, I just remember thinking to myself, and this was all through high school, I was like, I can't wait till I get out of your house. I'm going to buy me some pretty panties. And I'm going to buy me some pretty pajamas. I'm going to have sexy pajamas. And I'm going to be a lady. Like Whitley Gilbert. I'm going to be lacy like this and stuff. I'm going to do that. So the first thing I did when I got onto campus, I got my student ID, which doubled as a bus pass, and me and my homegirl, we would take the bus and we'd ride it all the way to the Burlington Coat Factory, honey. And we'd go to Burlington Coat Factory, and I would clean up, baby, in the lingerie section.
Because it was cheap.
It was, and they would have whole sets. The set would have a robe, and then it'd have something satiny that would go down to the floor, and then it'd have a little thong in the package. 3 for 1. Thong in the package. So the girl... you couldn't come into my room. I had a single room. It was just me by myself. But you couldn't come into my room unless you made honor roll. That was my room, because I don't like dumb boys. Dumb boys make dumb babies.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I like that. You had, hey, man. Did your mom teach you these standards? Who taught you these standards? Because I ain't get standards until I was like mid-30s.
I think she would indirectly, because she would just talk about the life that I wanted to live, and we would talk about what that would require, and then we would do kind of A plus B. So like, I don't like cleaning up my own room, so she would be like, this room is atrocious. You're going to have to make good money so you can afford a maid who can clean the room for you. I didn't know maids cleaned up behind badass kids. And once I knew that was a thing, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a maid. Okay. And I have a maid to this day.
Indirectly.
Right. Okay. And then with dating, I've always approached it from the perspective of like, when you were like in school and you would have a group project, if you pick the wrong group where you're the smartest one, you end up doing all the work.
Yes.
So then I started picking groups where I was the dumbest one, because I knew if I'm the dumb one, we're getting the A, because I'm not even that dumb.
For sure.
So I did the same thing with dating. I would try to be like, he needs to be at least as smart as me or more, because if so, we always going to be good. We're always going to be good. And that has been the truth.
I hope y'all are fucking taking notes, because that makes so much sense.
Yeah, because my girlfriends are going through the phase where they like the guys who needed their help. And what I came to learn is
rescue me. Help me.
Yeah, and the problem is, the difference between men and women is men don't appreciate it in the long run. Over time, when you help them too much, they begin to resent you and feel that you think you're superior to them. Because they're like, you're always trying to tell me how to do this. You're always trying to correct me. No, you think asked you know me.
Everything.
You think you know everything.
Ooh.
And it's like, no, you asked me to help you, so I'm helping you. You never waved a flag and said, okay, stop helping me. You take my help, you take my time when it's convenient, and pour nothing into me, and then demean me. Get the fuck out of here. No.
Ooh. Please pay attention, guys. Please pay attention.
So yeah, I did a little happy medium. So in college, going back, I would go to Burlington, get my lingerie, ride back on the bus with my little grocery bag filled with little lingerie. And then sometimes I would have like a guy come over or whatever, and I'd have on my little lingerie. Don't ask me why. And I wasn't even doing it to people. They would be like, oh, so how many guys have you slept with? Because that was the kind of things you asked girls your freshman year. And I was like, none of them. And they were like, oh, so I'm going to be your first? Next. Get out of here. So She was like, you mean to tell me you wear this fancy lingerie, this lacy shit every day, and you never had sex before? And I was like, no. And she was like, you little virgin whore. So it stuck. So she used to always call me that. Because she was like, how are you getting all these guys and you're not even sleeping with them? And I was like, oh, just watch. They'll stop coming around at the end of the semester. Because my mom had prepped me. She was like, look, when you go off to college, if you're a good girl, it's going to be lonely regardless. And if you're a naughty girl, meaning like sleeping with everybody, it's still going to be lonely.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be lonely because when their moms come to campus, when they have their football games, they're this, they're that, their real girlfriend is going to be invited. They're going to call you at nighttime. So you're going to be very lonely. But then when you're a good girl, at first, you're going to be new girl on campus, so you're going to get a lot of attention. But then when they realize you're not sleeping with anybody, it's going to be really lonely. She was like, but then senior year, when it's time for them to wife somebody up, when their mama's coming for graduation, all of a sudden, you're going to get invited to meet their mama, meet their people, have free dinner, this and that. So she was like, so in the long run, it pays better to be the good girl. And to this day, prior to my engagement, I was still getting them dinners, them thises, them that's. From even guys in undergrad, it was wild. Wow. Those same guys who are now coaches of teams. I'm talking head coaches of top universities. And I'm just kind of like, who I never slept with or any of that. But I was the girl that you come back for later when you get your shit together. Because Symone wasn't fooling with you. Because you have to. I'm not about to fool with your shit.
Yeah. Ooh. That's a word.
Not feeling, so that's how I became the virgin whore on campus.
But that's a good, because my thing is, my mileage, I always look at mileage. Like, I want to be in pristine shape.
He said men like women, like they like their cars. Low to no mileage.
And, I want to be able to say, and I've been with guys, but... So now I'm on a celibacy.
Got you.
Sabbatical.
Now, which one are you on? Are you doing the one where you're waiting for a serious relationship or marriage, or you're just kind of figuring it out as you go?
I think I'm figuring it out.
That's a good way to do it.
I don't know if I want to be married.
Oh, okay.
And it's maybe because I haven't met anybody that made me feel like, I want to marry you.
Have you seen a marriage that looked like fun?
No.
That'll do it too.
And a lot of the marriages that all my friends are married. The majority of my close friends are married, and not to say that I don't think that their marriages are great or whatever, but it's just not something that I don't want. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't look.
Well, I also think that so a part of what I do professionally is because I do a lot of serious injury. I do class action style medical device cases. I came to see that there would be that older people need marriage more than younger people. Because when you get to being in your late 50s and your 60s and you're lonely like for life. And it's harder to find partnerships at that age. I mean, where are you going to do? The YMCA?
The old folks home.
Right. And so what I came to notice is those older couples that stayed together were friends, and the ones who didn't, they broke up because they were not friends. And you really start to notice that when one of the two of them would get sick. Because it's really hard to care for somebody who is not your friend. Yeah. Can you imagine?
I couldn't.
Who's mean? A lot of the male clients would be really mean patients. They were mean to their wives. They were demanding. They were ungrateful. They were unappreciative. And now that you down and out, buddy, she don't have to sit up here and and your dick don't even work.
And you talking about, can you come wash my back?
Meanwhile, when everything was fine and dandy, you had Sheila, Rhonda, all of them, Meredith, up at the church house. All of them, you was running up
and down.
All of them now. Hey, where they at now? Nowhere. Because your ass is mean and your dick don't work. So I think that I totally understand not wanting to be committed or stuck to anybody, especially since you don't have kids yet. So that makes it great. You're more flexible. But I think that even if I didn't want marriage, I would certainly want some type of partnership, because as you grow older, you really need somebody to help take care of each other.
Absolutely. And I would welcome that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not met somebody that is... I would consider myself a pretty open and honest person.
Yeah.
I want to be able to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have to hide parts of myself or
Preach.
deny certain things of myself out of fear of being judged or misunderstood or any of that. I feel like if I'm feeling like I'm hiding myself, it's not going to work.
Oh, at all, because then they also feel like they're getting a representative, not the real you.
Right. And I think for a lot of my previous relationships, I've hid a lot of myself because I never trusted them. Because to me, that's a vulnerable part. You know what I mean? And I just want to be able to be loud and proud and just, you know, like have my tantrums, cry at the drop of a dime, and then just be like, okay, I'm better.
Are you a Sagittarius?
I have Sagittarius energy. So are you into your birth charts and stuff? Okay, so I am a Virgo sun with my moon and my rising in Sagittarius.
Woo, that's fun. I don't remember which is which, but I know that my regular is Capricorn.
Okay.
But
I can see that.
But she told me to tell people I'm Sagittarius because my rising is Sagittarius and my other one is Virgo, which is like why.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I can see that.
She was like, people don't really understand you if you tell them you're Capricorn because it's not consistent with what they
portray,
experience,
what they see. Yes, because I'm a Virgo.
There you go.
But when people see me, they see you know, Virgos are very quiet. They're very, you know, we observe. I have that energy as well, but I'm definitely fire.
Gotcha.
I have a lot of fire in my chart.
I could see you, man, especially I used to live in New York. I could see you with someone who's like a New Yorker, creative.
Absolutely.
One of those, you know, he's going to be poor some of the time, but he's going to figure some shit out.
I need me a hustler.
He will figure it out.
So,
but you need somebody with a strong creative streak, because overall you want somebody who's going to be like, yeah, the bitch is crazy, but she worth it.
That's what I need.
Crazy,
because I'm crazy, and I hate when guys.
We all are. I'm crazy and worth it too.
Crazy. That's the name of this episode. Crazy and worth it.
Yes, I love it. Crazy and worth it.
That is the name of this episode.
Crazy but worth it. Crazy and worth it. Yes. In the end, that's it. Because the other thing about those older couples that stay together is it's because they have fun. You know, and I know you bring so much fun to their lives.
I want to have fun.
I bet they don't have no boring days, but you do. Tell it.
You know, I do love to nap.
Oh yeah, but that's not even boring.
But
because you have naps and you wake up and you jump on them, or you guys are doing karaoke.
Yeah, we're gonna do something. But I think that I think because my personality is so strong and is so, I'm very much a leader, and I don't wait. If I have to ask you multiple times, then I'm done. Like I always tell guys in that pre-stage of dating, you got to see the need before I see it. Because if
anticipate my wants,
you got to anticipate because if you see my trash full, you need to take that trash out. Right. And you know, you coming over to my house, and you want to lay up and cuddle and hump, and you can't even, like, I don't like that. I don't like that. That's something that irritates me.
Or don't be like, damn, your trash is big.
What you doing?
Put your shoes back on. Put your shoes back on right now.
Take your stuff. Get your stuff.
Get your coat. Get on out of here. Go on, Reginald. Go on, Reginald. Get out of here. Scram.
I scram. Beat your feet.
Scram.
But yeah, like I can't be a man. I'm already a male energy in this male dominated world.
Absolutely.
I can't be a man in a relationship.
I'm
with
not
a
gonna be
man.
the man and the woman.
I can't.
This is foolish.
I can't.
It's,
I need to be soft. I need to be ready to be provided for. I'm still gonna do my thing.
Yeah.
I like my creative endeavors, so that'll always be a constant. But if I can't have that freedom to float and do and you know what I mean, like
yeah. And I realized, like, for me, the results of my dating, they really turned around, and I became very successful at dating once I got myself to the point where I felt like, you know what, I really like me overall, and I was able to acknowledge and say, shit is wrong with me, but shit's wrong with everybody. The reason why I used to do the same thing, I used to kind of hide certain things about myself, things I wasn't so proud of, you know, that I was messy or that I was disorganized, and then I was like, you know, like major things that could be a relationship issue.
Yes.
And then I was like, you know what? Really what happened is I started dating this ugly boy I had no business dating. But I was trying to give him a try because he had a good job. He was an engineer. And
why not?
Yeah, all my friends, I was like, okay, maybe that's what's wrong with me. Maybe I'm dating guys who are too attractive. Let's try this ugly one.
Yeah.
And so I used that one to really just put myself out there. And I was like, listen, there's something wrong with everyone. And I think it's just important for you to just recognize and realize that, but also understand, do you feel like the things that are wrong with me are worth it? Are they worth exploring a relationship? So I'm going to be transparent with you as to what I understand those to be, and be clear as to what are the things that are wrong with me that I'm willing to work on, and what are the ones I'm not.
Ooh.
And when I tell you, it was liberating.
That's a
It
word.
was liberating, because when you're hiding them, you can't be your full self. You're almost ashamed, and you operate your relationship in a sense of fear. So when you do that, you take the fear away, you take the shame away, and you can operate in love,
right?
And you can operate in more happiness. So for example, one of mine is, I was very clear. I was like, I have severe, now I know that it's ADD, but there really wasn't words for it. I was like, I have like the way my mind works. In the way I prioritize long-term happiness before like immediate. So cleaning, organizing, that kind of stuff, I'm not really good at.
Right.
But the solution I found is I pay somebody to do it for me.
You. Right. Okay.
Well, he decided that wasn't, after dating me for like 3 months, I was spending a lot of time at his house. So I said, you know what? I'm realizing my side of the room is kind of junky. Could you give me a drawer? Or something, if you're complaining. I was like, I'm not trying to move in, although he was actually trying to get me to move in. I said, if you gave me a drawer, it would be easier to keep things organized, because I just have this shit on my side of the bed. So he's like, okay. He did that, but it was still, but I also offered to have my maid that cleaned my house come to his house and clean his.
So you offered a solution to that. Gotcha.
He fussed me out about my solution. He said, I think it's ridiculous and pathetic that you're a grown woman and can't clean up behind yourself. I said, but I just told you, I'm hiring a maid and I'm paying her to come once a week to your house. Or every other week, whichever you prefer. I was like, no, I don't want that, because you should be able to do it. I said, okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to dump myself. This relationship won't work. I told you that I have deficits. You said you will accept my deficit.
That's a good one.
I can't make you happy, because what you are requiring, I can't provide. So I'm dumping me for you. Ooh. So I did that. This nigga wouldn't get off my phone. Blowing up. I took my stuff and I left first, and then I sent him that message. And I texted it. I didn't call. No. I sent him that message. I texted it, and then I called him just to say, hey, I just sent you a message. Thank you for everything. I've taken my items and I left your key or whatever. And he was like, we can talk about this. No. This is a deal breaker for me.
This is always going to be a battle.
Because it wasn't about the item. It was about control. He wanted to control how I allocated my time and my money. You can't do that, because control is the absence of love. When you really, really love someone.
Girl, you are there. Oh.
Yeah. When you really, really love someone, you don't need to control them, because your love is there such that you trust they're going to do the right thing for you without you having to control them doing it. That's just my opinion.
That's deep. Damn. Because I find that And maybe there is a part of me that really needs to work on that aspect of just being. And as much as I am just a butterfly floating and doing my thing, I do struggle with, because I know I'm a high value woman.
Absolutely.
And I know I do struggle with trying to, so this one particular guy I was dating, I had a job commission from an NBA player for his nonprofit. And I told this guy, I said, hey, this is important to me. Like, like I will make time. Like, I'm not, I don't have a regular 9 to 5. My job is all over the place. I freelance. I do this. I do that. And I need you to understand that. And because I provide for myself, my priority is making sure I have the necessities that I need and want. I love Sephora. I love my beauty products. I love what I love. And I'm going to make sure I have that. I said this to him. All right, cool. So when I got this commission, it was like a problem. Oh,
was it the schedule?
It was my schedule. Oh, you don't have time. Oh, you don't have this. Oh, here you go again, changing the time we meet up. And I say, yo, like I told you.
Yeah.
This is important to me. And if I can't be in a space where I have to worry about you being upset because I changed the time that we're going to meet up to 7:00 instead of 4, like, what are we doing? And
do you think you would complain if you were an attorney and you were like, oh, it's for trial, or if it's for this or for that? He may not have respected what you were doing and how you were doing.
And I don't think that he did, because he had a regular 9 to 5. So and I understood that, because you can't understand my hustle as a creator, as somebody that has to literally, like, I mean, if I don't hustle, I don't eat.
Yeah.
And it's not a typical job, and I get that, and I'm cool with that misunderstanding.
Yes.
But it's that like, well, I just are you serious? Like, so I'm just thinking, like,
because it's like, what would you like me to do? Excuse me.
No, and if I told you who I was doing it for,
then you really have a problem.
So you would really have a problem, because because it was so precious to me. That I had to keep what I was doing private, because I was so like, this has to get done. Yeah. And he's a prominent NBA player, and I kept that to myself, because again, I didn't want him to be intimidated by it. Because, you know what I mean? Like,
no, yeah. So now, like, who I am now, I'd say, I wouldn't necessarily say the name, because they'll be hating. Right. But I say, hey, I have this gig. It's for this. This is the industry that I work in, and it's important to me that I have a guy who feels comfortable, but also that I have the ability to feel comfortable traversing in these circles. Right. Because I'm a confident woman, and it's important that I have a confident man around. They always pretend to be confident. They'll never say, I'm not confident. But what you'll hear is a question, who do you know? Oh, okay. Did y'all ever date?
As soon as you go out one time.
Bye. Get away from me, you little stupid. Like, the guy that I was referencing, when I tell you, I dumped myself about 3 or 4 times. God. And all of a sudden, I would always say, I can't make you happy. When the truth of the matter is, he couldn't make himself happy. Right. But I always, when you put the blame on you, then I would stand firm, and I'm not changing this, because there's a lot of things I'm willing to work on. I'm frequently late. I'm just, like, my fiance now lies to me every time about what time something starts. And what time I need to get ready. It's okay. It's okay. And I need him to do that. That's what love looks like. Because this is an example of something that's wrong with me, but workable.
It's workable.
It's workable. But there were other things where I just said, because with Mr. Ugly Stupid, what really befuddled me is, even with the maid situation that I described, and he said, it's a shame you're a grown woman and you can't clean up behind yourself. I said, I need you to do some mental math. He went to a top university. I said, I bill $500, $400 to $500 an hour, depending on what I'm working on. If I'm going to clean the house the way you want it clean, it's going to take me 4 to 5 hours. It takes them 2, and I pay her $30 an hour. I want you to explain to me why that makes sense for me to be taking, what is that? Four times 4, $1,600 a week out of the family budget
to make
for
sure
you to feel better. You don't make $400 an hour. I didn't say it, but I sure thought it. But the fact that he could not even, his response was, because you're a grown woman. Even with the numbers, even with this and that. I said, this isn't about being reasonable.
Yeah.
You want to be right. And I'm going to allow you to be right, but you're going to have to be right alone. Because I am guided by happiness, what's going to make my household the happiness and the happiest, and what's going to make me the happiest. And I can't function with someone who's unreasonable. And reasonable is now my safe word. I used to be like, you're stupid or you're this, that. When I'm in arguments, I just said, okay, that's not reasonable. I don't care if it's work, personal life, court.
Right. It's not
reasonable. Because it's better. And I realize, like, instead of calling somebody crazy or, like, those are defensive words. But when you say to someone, especially to a man, that you're being unreasonable, something about it makes him process it. He may not agree with you.
Right.
But he's going to process what he's asking for. Because in the end, you can't reason with the unreasonable. And you don't even want to function in a relationship with someone who's unreasonable. You can't.
You can't.
That's what makes marriages end, when they're even together. Is somebody here has an unreasonable request.
Jeez. Girl. You are a blessing. Okay.
I just had fun tonight, girl.
No, that you are a blessing, because I really, that's been my life in a nutshell, is owning myself, owning my shit. And as much as I like to think that I own, as much as like we like to think, but when we get to that man, we're like, oh, he's cute. Oh my God, let me hide. Oh God, God. Like you start pulling back because you want him to like you.
Yes, yeah.
You want him to pick me, but like I'm not a pick me person, but I want you to pick me because I know I'm the shit, but you gotta dig a little deep.
Yeah, because sometimes we feel like, oh, let me make him fall in love, or let him fall in love with me first.
Right.
Then I'll tell him about all the other stuff. And we hurt ourselves so badly because we get heartbroken, when it might be better to just tell him this stuff first. And then you lead with him understanding but acknowledge what you really work on. And then, because then he can give you grace.
That's key right there.
They can't give you grace when they find out about the issue later.
Right.
Whether even if it's, you had a really extensive host stage, and maybe you have a lot of bodies behind you, and there may come a time when
you have to own
he finds out it was one of his old friends or something. You can just be like, you know what? One of the things that I'm really working at is being very intentional with who I share my body with. Because I really didn't value myself the way that I should have. But I've done my work. Yes, I've done my work, and I'm here now. So
I'm here now.
I've done my work, and I'm here.
That's a spin, baby.
Yeah, you got to do it. You know what? Here's what's crazy to me is like, when I tell you the story of the virgin whore, like that reputation literally has like continued with my life into later years, because for the most part, like I only had sex with men I was in relationships with. But I have a lot of successful male friends who to this day, like I'll go to my male homeboys who, I'm talking multimillionaires, I'm talking very successful men. I say this to say, ladies, I got guys I could hook you up with. But also, so I'll go to those same successful guys when I was single, and I'd be like, hey, do you have any I'm going to Chicago for work for a week. Do you have any homeboys out there? And then they would link me. And that's how I would date a lot of my guys, because birds of a feather. Like, I'm telling you, millionaires don't run around with thousandaires. Millionaires, especially black boy millionaires, will find the one other black boy millionaire in that town, and they be besties. And I said, that's who I want to date, and I did. So I would do that, but one thing that I realized is they would then be like, oh, you're friends with, let me make up a name, make sure I don't use a real name. They'd be like, oh, you're friends with, so Kevin introduced us. So we'd be dating, and then maybe go on a trip or something, and they would be shocked that I wasn't sleeping with him. I was like, hey, I'm willing to go on this trip with you. I just want to clear expectations. Is if we share a room, do you expect that we'll be intimate? 9 times out of 10, they will say, no, whatever you feel comfortable. And I'll be like, all right, well, that's something that I saved for a relationship. So now if you get disappointed, that's on you. But they would frequently be like, there's no way you were friends with so-and-so for all these years and you never let him hit. I was like, no, it's absolutely the case. Call him right now. Call him. And one time I had him do that, and they realized that, like, no, this really is my MO. But I'm saying, even if it isn't, even if it's something that later down the line you want to adopt, that's one of those things where you have to be okay with it in yourself. Don't be ashamed of it, because we all grow. Who's the same girl they were at 21? Shit.
I wasn't the same girl last week. I'm not.
I know that's right. If I was a girl I was at 21, I would have been kidnapped. Dateline special right here. Don't know a stranger. How that music go?
Welcome to Dayline. We have a story. Symone.
No, seriously, y'all. My mother. Oh my gosh. So when I travel, black girl travel to or brown girl or whatever you are. Whatever. To this day, when I called my mom when I was like 18, I was like, hey mom, just want to let you know, if you call my dorm room next week, I'm not going to answer for like 7 days because I'm going to Jamaica on spring break. Bye. She was like, this girl is crazy. So my mother forced me. She said, you go down to the Bank of America immediately. I called them, and there's a woman named Susie. She's got $100 and $2 bills for you. And I had to go pick them up. And she says, wherever you go in Jamaica, you drop a $2 bill. And she was like, because that way, when you get kidnapped, I'm going to call the U.S. Embassy, and I'm going to say, follow the black girl with $2 bills. I think it might have been my third year of college.
That was smart, though.
But so now when I travel, I always tip with $2 bills so that if I do get kidnapped because I'm overly friendly, they can bring my body back to Oak Cliff. I want to be buried by Evergreen Cemetery.
Okay. I think mine is like, I take a picture of every place that I'm at.
Oh, that's wise.
I take a picture because I went to Mexico City by myself.
Ooh, girl, you see them three black people.
So now I think that's. See, I got scared, but I think it's misleading, and that's an isolated incident.
It was. Tell them what happened, y'all.
So I think that was it because they didn't give too much? They said
3 black people woke up dead.
Carbon monoxide in an Airbnb.
They didn't say the carbon monoxide. They just said 3 black people woke up dead.
They said it was carbon monoxide.
A Mexico City Airbnb was the headline.
But they said you
got to read.
You got to read down.
Black people, we don't like to read.
We don't like to read. We read headlines and then we jump to conclusions. So.
Oh my God, wait a minute. I just realized black people really don't like to read. That's how come we ended up being them slaves those 2 extra
because
years
we didn't read.
God damn it.
We didn't read the fine print.
Because they wouldn't let us do it. Okay, we've come to the bottom of it.
We figured it out, but that's all right. We're free. Whatever. But I remember I checked. I mean, I was nervous about my area. I stayed in an Airbnb, and I was a little nervous because it was one of those Airbnbs where if you weren't in the hallway, the lights wouldn't cut on.
Oh,
they're motion censored lights.
Ooh, that's scary.
So it was dark. I said, oh, no. But I checked, I had an electric stove or whatever. So the building was electric stoves and shit like that. But when I went, I always made sure I took pictures of where I was at. I took pictures of, like, my receipt.
Good. So see, we could do that now.
Yeah.
It wasn't none of that in 2003. You had to take your camera down to the Walgreens and come back 72 hours later to a week.
But thank God, because sometimes I thought, because I thought I spoke Spanish until I actually got to Mexico, and I realized Bitch, you don't speak Spanish. You speak broken Spanish. Spanglish. And so I thought that it was certain Uber drivers. I really thought that, okay, how am I going to escape the cartel? How am I going to escape going to...
You think they want us?
No.
Good.
My experience was, no. I don't think that I think they were excited. This one guy told me that he said, I didn't even have to call Uber no more. He said he would pick me up from the airport, take me to the airport. He would do whatever. He wanted to show me the city because I went to...
How he look?
Old.
Oh,
he was
man.
an old man.
I don't like that
but he was so excited. He said, you're gonna... So he spoke English. He said, you're gonna come live here one day, and I want to be your friend. He said, keep my number in your phone. Girl, he bought me a little bird thing. You know, they be making shit on the side of the streets. So he told...
Wow.
Yeah. So he was cool.
Hey, 90 Day Fiance.
No, ma'am.
It's not selling citizenship.
No, ma'am. I'm not...
If you give him some chucha.
No. Because, sir, you driving this little sedan, this little Hyundai. I can't.
However, do you know the going rate of U.S. citizenship? About $30,000.
He ain't had it.
You don't know.
He
They
didn't
pay
have
them
that.
coyotes about $15 to take them across the water. I'm just saying.
I know he did.
Don't undervalue yourself.
Look, Michael didn't have that. I know Michael didn't have that. You know, Miguel didn't have that. Miguel talking about, I'll come back and take you to the airport. No, sir, it's good. I'm good. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I went by myself. Nobody wanted to go with me. And I'm not one of those people where I can't go somewhere by myself if somebody doesn't come with me. I'm not scared like that. So
did you turn on your Bumble app?
While I was there, I didn't have Bumble. Because dating apps.
Yes, please. I need to get you together, girl.
Okay, so Hinge. Ooh. Hinge was just not my friend.
Why? What happened?
I went on like 30 dates in 30 days.
I need to look at your profile. That might have been the problem.
You think so?
Were any of them white?
Yes.
Oh, well, tell me more.
See, okay, so I went out with this one guy.
Okay.
I'm not going to say his name. Well, fuck it. Fuck him. No, his name was Scott.
Hey, Scott.
And Scott, he worked in an oil field.
Oh, okay.
So he had like this... Like I guess people who work in oil fields, they had like a bed and breakfast or people.
I dated one of them, the one who's dick didn't. Go ahead.
Oh God, maybe it was him.
Is it Scott? He gave me a different name, but it might have been the same person.
Okay, well this dude, his name was Scott, and he had a bed and breakfast in an oil field out there in Midland.
Oh my God, they're probably roommates. This is where you should go. Yeah, it looked like a dorm room.
He said, yes.
Yes, and it was two of them that would share? Or was it just him?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure the details, but he said he would cook for all the
other men. It was almost like barracks, almost like army barracks.
Yeah. So he said that he owned the property. So he would come back and forth. Now, again,
nothing in Midland. It's really expensive.
Again, I don't know.
Okay, I do.
So I said, okay, cool. So he finally hit me back, and he was just like, I'm back in Houston. I want to take you out to eat. Sorry, I've been MIA. So I was like, all right, cool.
So when y'all matched, he was in Houston?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah. We matched.
How white is he? Like on a scale of like
he
0 to leave it to be.
He loves black women.
Okay. So he about like Tamar's boyfriend, that white boy. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So I remember he was just real, just like, I really just want to see you. I want to meet you. I want to make sure you're not a catfish. And that was the thing. People were just like, are you a catfish?
Because you're so pretty. That's why.
Are you a catfish?
And your words were probably sounded fun. So they were probably
because I was I like to be funny.
Me too. Yeah.
So I was like talking shit or whatever. So he's like, I just want to meet you. I just want to make sure you're not a catfish.
Okay.
So he met me. He was like, oh, okay, you're the real deal. All right. So we met at this restaurant, Eunice.
Oh yeah. Oh girl, that's that cornbread.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's really
So we met at Eunice. We ate. It was fun. Then he was telling me that he likes to road trip to Midland He had a big old camper.
Oh.
So
We like campers.
yeah, it was nice. I went, so like the next day, went to his camper. He cooked for me. He made like vegan chili. And
oh, wow.
and now that in hindsight, I look back, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker could have really murdered me.
Oh.
But luckily I have my GPS
Okay.
on.
So what was wrong with him?
I think when people just randomly just disappear, I either think that they died.
Yeah, me too. Or they got a wife.
Or something, because he was so pressed to like have me around. And I said, no. I mean, I've seen you twice in a week. Like that's like let's pace ourselves.
Okay, it's the oil field mentality. I can explain this because they work 2 weeks on, 1 week off. And even when they're on, like their shift could start at 6 p.m. and not be over till 6 a.m. And so like when he would be, mine was the engineer, was like a concrete engineer or whatever. So when he would be doing his thing, like he couldn't stop until it was done. So because it's a 2 week on, 1 week off, in that week off is when they do all of their dating, all of their, so mine built me a fireplace. Girl. He built me a fireplace. He fixed my car. He ran my ex-boyfriend off. He cussed out some niggas for me. He trimmed my hedges. He just like it was a lot of home improvement. Yeah, this nigga gave me about $10,000 worth of equity in the premises. Okay, equity in the premises on the week off. Because also they. Yeah, it was a lot. Bless his heart. I hope
you say he built me a fireplace.
Yeah, I got pictures. Text me, remind me. I'll send them to you to add
the pictures so I can add to the video.
I got to.
Oh
Then I feel bad saying this dick didn't work. Oh well, that's not my fault. But yes, and they do all that. And then on the weeks when they do have that 1 week off, if they choose to continue working, like if they have a lot to do, they get double overtime or something obnoxious like that. They're already making 6 figures.
Yeah.
And we're talking about guys who most of the time they don't have degrees. Yeah. So for them to be making $200K and not have housing expenses, not have any of that, because all of that's provided by the oil companies, they live a really good life. And generally it's very intensive. Really nice so they try to make as much money as possible, understanding that once their body gives out, they're not gonna be able to do anymore. Yeah. So it was he was really it probably felt or looked like love bombing only because of his time sensitivity.
He was so like, okay, so then he was like, okay, I'm gonna cook for you, and I was a little apprehensive, but he said he had a little girl.
Was she black?
White.
Huh. Okay.
Or Hispanic.
Oh, okay, of color.
So it was of color.
Got it.
And so he was like, I don't want you to feel weirded out. My daughter is going to be there. It's fine. You can come. I would like to cook for you.
Okay.
So I was just like, all right.
So he had a place in Houston?
Yeah.
Is he a homeowner?
He has one of those apartments in one of those high rises in River
Oaks.
Oaks.
That's okay.
And so apparently he had 2 apartments that it was a huge apartment, like it was like it was like a panoramic.
Wow.
Of
that'll get you.
Like,
got the panties wet.
I was I was impressed.
Yeah,
I was impressed.
I would be too.
I was impressed. Like, it was a panoramic view of the city, and it was all rich white, and I could tell. I could, it's like you could tell.
Honey, ain't nothing like a man with some mineral rights, okay? So
and then
air, view,
it was nice. So I knew it was something. And then his kitchen, the way his kitchen was set up, it was, I wouldn't even think that type of kitchen would be in this place. Oh, wow. It was a beautiful.
It might have been a condo.
I don't know what it was.
Okay.
But he said that it was 2 apartments combined in one.
Wow.
I was like, oh, this is nice. This is real nice.
Now, okay. And then
he cooked the meal. It was beautiful. It was great. I mean, I said I wanted scallops.
That's hard to make.
Oh, impeccable.
Oh man, I want to see.
He made me scallops. He showed me his artwork, and I said, damn, this is my vibe. Yeah, and then he had the beautiful crystal glasses that he poured the wine in. I said, this is...
That's classy.
It was classy. It was classy
shit.
It was classy. And the little girl, she was cute. And then once she, she got comfortable, she was showing me all her stuff, all her dolls and stuff that. So it was just like, I felt comfortable. And then we ended up falling asleep on the couch, and we woke up. He cuts the button on and the shades come up. I said, this is nice. This is nice with my aquapana water.
I bet he ain't got no child support arrears either.
No.
We don't want nobody with arrears.
Yeah,
we want you to be on time.
Yeah, he kissed me.
Okay.
He kissed me goodbye. So then he was just like, hey, I'm getting ready to go back to Midland. Let's have steak night. But then I was just like, okay, I've seen you already too much. Let's maybe take a break, and then when you come back, we can hang out again.
Oh, you said it that way?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because it was like, okay, I like you, and I don't want to keep making these same mistakes.
Understood.
Because it's like the last relationship that I did. I mean, a week later, the motherfucker met my mom.
Okay. Oh yeah. It's because you're a good catch. It happens to us.
And so I can't afford to
Is
be in a
cheese on my knee. Sorry, it's real good, y'all.
It's okay.
So I usually don't get distracted by food on my body because I'm used to it, but I wasn't ready for the
It looks good. The guacamole is good.
Oh, good. I'm glad you liked it.
But, it just scared me. And
okay.
I think that, and I remember I sent him, because I was making an artichoke. And so I sent him a picture of the artichoke going into the oven, whatever. And he said, I can't wait to come back and, maybe we can make that recipe together.
Oh.
I haven't heard from him.
Okay. We gotta make, I wonder if he's dead.
I wonder if he's dead.
Do we know his last name?
No.
Woo! That makes sense. You don't know his last name?
I don't know his last name either.
Do we know if he's still on the app?
I don't know. I deleted. So then I went on a series of other dates after that, and I got exhausted.
Oh no!
I got exhausted.
What was exhausting? That sounds like a good problem to have, though, girl.
Because it's just like having to say my favorite color, my favorite thing to do.
That shit.
Like,
I don't know nobody else's favorite color. Next man I date better be blind.
But all that was just too much for me, and having to go out. And this one guy said he was a federal agent and he was undercover, but then he decided to tell me that he was a federal agent, and
he was gonna kill you, girl.
But it felt weird. That was he was beautiful. He was black. He was gorgeous. I
want his name.
I forgot his name.
Dang,
I forgot his name, but he was weird because the messages that he would send me were like, have you ever lived with somebody? And I just was lived with a guy, and I said no. And then I wouldn't hear back from him until the next day.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
So it was
it wasn't engaging in a conversation. It was just testing out how weird can he get.
Yeah. So it was just that kind of thing. And then I had to change the date on a date, and he was just like, okay, cool. And he didn't send a response back okay, well, when can we reschedule? Or, no, I think I put, let's reschedule for another day. He said, okay, cool. But he never let me know what his schedule was. I'm not a pick-me. Okay. So, if I don't get that same energy back, I can't engage.
Understood.
And I get a text message 2 weeks later talking about, hey, what happened? You disappeared.
That's how you know he disappeared.
What? I didn't disappear. You just never told me what your availability was. So,
Gotcha.
All that frustrated me, and I'm the type of person, it's too much. It's too much for my spirit, and I can't. And so
I would love to. Okay, so I would love to see your little profile page, kind of what it looked like and what you had on there, because it seems like it was working really good because people were very excited.
It was working. I mean, I said,
just weeding out the crazies.
1 month, I legit was going on a date at least once a week.
Wow.
Or even twice. Good. I was busy.
Oh yeah.
I was eating good.
Oh.
I was eating good, okay? And these people picked wonderful restaurants. And I'm not talking like
That's one thing that's great about Houston.
Not talking about Mastro's or, it's
Okay.
like the hole in the walls that were just
I love that.
Beautiful ambiances, like great wine. It was like, oh, I ain't never even been here. Ooh, I love this.
We're going to get you back on track. I feel like the holiday season might be a real good time for it. But also,
you know what? I
y'all,
that.
I'm really big on when you travel, you better turn that bitch on. Honey, when I went to Dubai when I was single, baby, at one point I ended up doing 2 days. Dubai has so many gorgeous black men. Because you have to remember, they have a lot of Americans that go over there. Then they got British black men. Then they got the actual, they got the Africans. Then they got the men who are Emiratis, which is from the UAE, right? They black too, okay? And they're gorgeous too. And I just said, guys, I'm going to have to ration my time a little better. Because, y'all are all so fine. By the time I left, I was supposed to be there for 3 days. I stayed for like 21 or 27, something obnoxious. I ended up getting a job. A guy offered to let me move in with him.
Oh, wow.
And I would have moved in with him, but I definitely would have stayed. Oh, I ended up with somebody who thought he was my boyfriend by the end of it. And, I had a love affair with a Dubai soccer player. That was fun.
Love.
And I would have stayed, but then I realized, like, bitch, you're too old for this shit. You need to freeze your eggs. So I was like, let me go back to America, freeze my eggs, and I'm going to come back over here and regain this foolishness. But then my fiance was, interested or whatever at the time. And he said the magic words, Symone, can I pick you up from the airport? And I was like,
that's your magic word?
Yes, honey. I'm so cheap. And a ride from the airport is very expensive. It's very expensive, y'all. And the men today,
that's all it took.
Ain't nobody trying to pick you up from the airport.
Baby,
not nobody
not
that's dating you.
Not Bush.
No, honey. That airport is like 40 minutes
not
to
Bush.
my house. That's one way. And then he lives 30 minutes in a different direction. When a man says he's going to pick you up from the airport, that's a man who says, I want to spend time with you. Yes.
That's a good man.
He says, I want to spend time. Because otherwise, what a man will do would be like, I'll send you an Uber. I'll send you an Uber. He said, no, I want to be the first face you see when you come back.
And you said
to American soil. And I said, you know what? If I was doing it to people, I definitely would have did it to you. But in the meantime, yes, I will take the ride. That's how our love affair began.
I love that. Mm-hmm. And then the rest is history.
It was really history. He really did pick me up from that airport. That was amazing.
So did y'all have like a fun conversation on the ride back? Like what was?
Yeah, I think I was half asleep, but we did. Cause I don't know what I was talking about. I know he brought my luggage in the house and screamed. I said, well, sir, I'm probably about to be asleep for about the next 24 hours, and I do not want to wake up with a dick in my back.
Because they love to do that.
Yes. Get your scoot back, sir.
Oh, my God.
Scoot back.
That is so funny.
They get older, but they stay just as nasty, y'all.
Oh, my God.
I'm trying to tell you, those tricks, they don't give up on them.
Okay, so what is your advice? Because I feel like there are more high-value women than there are men.
Mm-hmm.
What is your advice to, and I feel like you are a high-value woman.
Thank you.
I know you are a high-value woman. What is your advice on dating in this climate? Because I know you know.
Oh, for sure. So I think that there are more high-value black women than there are black men who want us. Mm-hmm. But I do not feel that there are more high-value. I think overall there's more high-value men. So number one is be open to other options.
Okay.
That treat you well. I do firmly believe you must be physically attracted to who you're dating.
Okay.
So we don't toss away and be like, okay, I'm gonna get with this white man because he's nice to me. No, that's slavery.
Right. Slavery.
But I do say open your options. So like, okay, it was a little dramatic. I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead.
Just a little bit. But I would say, the number one thing I would advise to other high value women is focus on men who even want your value in the first place. Mm. So there's two kinds. There's the kind who wants somebody dumber than them, and then there's the kind that we need, which is the kind who say, I want a brilliant woman to raise my brilliant children.
Ooh.
Because those are the men who are going to fall in love with your mind first. Once they fall in love with your mind, you can get whatever you want from a man. You just have to work it. Because once they fall in love with your mind, they trust you eternally. They trust your judgment. Mm-hmm. They trust that you're coming from a good place. They trust your wisdom. So you get the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. The difficulty in relationships a lot of time comes from, differing expectations and then not getting the benefit of the doubt when somebody's wrong. Mm-hmm. So I say focus on men who actually want a smart girl who's going to be able to help them raise their kids and or help support their businesses. I'm not saying put your interest to the side. Let's say you want to have businesses too. There are a lot of men as well who are the high value men who say, I want a woman so that we can be a power couple. Focus on those men too. Those men exist in every race.
We're not talking about CNAs and drug dealers.
No.
We're not talking about that. Or like bartenders and promoters.
No.
That's not it. That's not it.
No,
That's not it. We're talking about real shit, people.
Real stuff. And also, so I would say, and then the way to meet those guys is you have to be in those kinds of environments. So I always know when the Black Doctor Convention is coming. They have one every year. So you figure out which one that is that you're interested in, the Black Doctor, Black Dentist, and happen to be in that city. If it's in New Orleans, it's real easy to end up in New Orleans. And you just happen to be at that host hotel bar. Not difficult. Same thing with the engineering. The MBA is in Masters of Business, not NBA, the sports. Same with that sports stuff.
For all the slow people.
Because those sports guys, those athletes, they don't care if you're smart. In fact, I will never forget, I went to the University of Pittsburgh. I believe it was Jerome Bettis, who is, they call him the Bus. He was like a big running back and a Pittsburgh Steeler. He said he didn't like smart women because they asked too many questions. And there's a lot of men who feel that way. So we want to get away from those guys, and we want the ones who will appreciate us. So,
very solid advice.
Well, girl, I had so much fun. So now you're going to have to come on mine.
Absolutely.
Or we could just take excerpts and additive, but we'll do. So I also have a channel. I can't believe I forgot to mention at the beginning, but it's called Girl.
Right?
Yeah. Thank you. Girl, Is That Legal? So go to YouTube. Please follow and subscribe.
The link will
Girl,
be.
Is That Legal?
Bum, bum, bum.
Yes, we're coming out with new episodes in December.
Fun.
Yes, and I had so much fun. So I'm gonna come back.
Please.
And we're gonna do a little dating. We're gonna do some dating.
Yes.
I want you to have a holiday boo.
I need that. Yeah, I need a New Year's kiss.
Oh.
I need a New Year's kiss. I have a lot of sequins in my closet.
Ah!
And I wanna do this.
Wonderful.
I wanna do that and
wonderful. And then what I need from you, I need the help from you, is I need you to help me convince Rashid that I can buy a dimple. I want to buy a dimple in the new year with my tax return. Okay. And he's really not in support of that plan.
He's not in.
Like you have yours. Yours are natural.
Right. I had nothing to do with that. Right.
And I went there, y'all. They're
where would you put it?
Evenly.
Right. You want two right there.
Yeah.
I can see that.
See, thank you. I smile a lot. I like to smile at people, and I already have a fat face. So a dimple makes your face look less fat. And I have a nice Black doctor. I found a good Black doctor. She can do it. I just need to come with about $2,500. He thinks that's ridiculous. But I say that's why Jesus made care credit.
And on that note, thank you guys for watching. This is Adriana Symone. Check her out on her podcast. The information is right here, guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
I had a ball.
So much fun. I hope you guys are paying attention because you know what? I'm finna get me a man.
Yeah.